There's Steven. Steven's always
Hi.
first.
How is he so fast?
He's stalking us.
There's Freebird. Doctor.
Bookish. Good morning.
You guys are so cute. Look how cute they
You see
are.
Gracie and Rick.
I wonder if X went live. Is X back on, you guys? Can you guys log on to X? Sandy Candy. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Come on in. I have a sip clip for us. I have no idea what it is. I did not get to preview the sip clip yet, so it'll be a surprise for all of us. And let's come on in. Good. We need another second. I feel so bad if we start too soon, and then I see in the comments later that people came in, they didn't know until the sip was halfway through. So I feel like, oh, look at Lang. Oh, look at that. You guys are amazing.
I checked X. We are live on X.
We're live on X? All right, YouTube. Are you guys good?
YouTube is looking good too. Yeah, YouTube is looking really lively.
And we're looking at Rumble and Locals. So we're ready to go, you guys. Okay, let's start with a sip. I have not had a sip of my coffee yet, so I'm looking forward to this. And let's bring up Scott. Okay, you guys, you ready?
I will check on the stock market for you while you're finding a seat. Grab a beverage. It's almost time for your favorite thing. All right, Tesla's up a little bit. S&P's up a little bit. Bitcoin's up a little bit. All right, we'll take it. But I think I know why. I'll tell you in a minute. Hey, everybody. All right, as soon as I have your comments working perfectly, which is now, we'll get going. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the highlight of human civilization. It's called Coffee with Scott Adams, and you never had a better time in your whole life. But if you'd like to take a chance on elevating your experience up to levels that nobody can even understand with their tiny, shiny human brains, all you need for that is a copper, a mug, or a glass, a tankard, chalice, a stein, a canteen, jug, or flask, a vessel of any kind. Fill it with your favorite liquid. I like coffee. And joining me now for the unparalleled pleasure, the dopamine hit of the day, the thing that makes everything better. It's called the simultaneous sip, and it happens now. Go. All right, well done. let me just say, you're so good at sipping. Impressive.
Awesome. All right, you guys.
Nice.
That was nice. So welcome to Monday morning at the Scott Adams School. It's technically month number 2. We're finding our way. I am Erica, and I'm here with Owen Gregorian.
Good morning.
And like the Brady Bunch, and then skydiving in on skydiving. He's coming out of a plane. We've got Sergio midair.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, I'm having just a blue day today.
And there's our beautiful Marcela. Good morning, Marcela.
Good morning. You guys are all looking very beautiful. Everybody out there.
Woohoo! And Beverly looks hot today.
Yeah.
Guys, so one thing I told Shelly asked for us to remind you, they have restocked the Dilbert calendar for 2026. So you guys, this is available right now on Amazon. If you did not get one, or you have one and you wanted to keep one, like let's say as a collector's item, which a lot of us do, I have an open mine. These are available right now on Amazon. Okay. So just a reminder, they are restocked. So good. And I love hearing how everyone has a different way of using their calendar. You know, like they rip it, they don't rip it, they pin it up, they do all sorts of cute things with them. So there's the infamous Dilbert calendar 2026. So today it's the news crew, and Marcela and Owen have picked some great stories to talk about. We hope that everybody listening finds them relevant and current as to what's going on in the world today. We want you to be informed. And I asked Sergio if he could help me because you guys, I'm a little spicy and I get a little opinionated. And Sergio is going to try to help for those of you that are like me, maybe give a little bit of an alternative view and talk us off the ledge a little so we don't feel like the world's coming to an end at all times. And I really appreciate that. So I'm going to turn over the news now to Owen and Marcella. I don't know whose story is starting first, but you two can take it away.
I think we'll start with Marcella's list. I'm still working on my list. Should be ready
Okay,
soon.
great.
On my list, the first one would be Rubio. Marco Rubio represented America like no one else. There was a standing ovation, I think, at the beginning of the speech and at the end.
Nope.
Sorry, just to make sure. And this was on Friday, and I know that it's not new news, but we wanted to dissect it. We wanted Sergio, we wanted Erica, we wanted Owen's point of view through the Scott lens. And one of the main things he outlined is the fact that the West is degrading is not necessarily something that needs to happen. It can go the other way. We can win still, we can reverse it. And what I loved about his speech, if you did not hear it, you must hear it. It's about 20 minutes long. It was wonderful. Even the Europeans loved it, which is kind of amazing. The main thing is that he outlined how great Europe used to be, and talking about the Sistine Chapel, talking about all the great discoveries and everything else that Europe has done. So he laid it out. He paced and led them, not necessarily talking down to them, but in a high ground maneuver. We'll go into it, but the main thing is, he said, we in America have no interest in being polite and orderly caretakers of the West managed decline. Basically, a red line that this has to stop. He talked about immigration, how the U.S. opened its borders to immigration and how Europe has opened its border to immigration, because we're good people. We want to help. We feel the plight of all these people, but at the same time, we have to secure our borders, secure our livelihood, secure our culture. And that's basically what he said, that we have to reverse that. That yes, he understands Europe opened its borders, but at the same time, they must also be closed now so that it can be restored back to the greatness that it was. And he outlined how Europe and America work together to end World War II, and that can again happen. So I'll open it to everybody. Erica, what are your thoughts?
I loved how he pointed out, like he tried to highlight to them what their greatness was and the nation that they were, and that this is a chosen decline, right? So it's a chosen decline. So he's saying, like, you can keep going on this path. We're not going to get you out of it. Or you can remember what you were and where you came from, and reminded them that, what did they say? Like, we were, how did he put it? We were like born out of them. So like we were like a sister or a brother to them. I forget the exact word.
I think he said we'd always be a child of Europe.
A child of Europe. And I love that, because it was like some kind of being humble and saying, like, we're a child of Europe, but that was because we shared the same values and we were, the same morality and things like that. Now they've chosen another path. So they're saying, like, you can go that way, we'll be sad, or you can regain what you had and take it back, and then we can continue working together. And I think it was a good reminder. And I think that the people in there that were applauding were like, yeah, we miss what we had too. And we do want it back. And we see the decay and the decline. And I don't know. I felt like it was a message of hope, but it was strong and it was really putting the ball in their court. So it's pretty clear to me that if they choose to not go down a path of regaining who they were morally and as a country, that they have to probably go it alone. What do you think, Sergio? Sergio, I love it. You're on mute.
What about now? Okay.
You're good.
Now, yeah.
This is insane. I practice so much. I have a button now
Mm-hmm.
dedicated. I sent a picture to Owen this morning. I was
It's a
going to
tradition
brag.
that you have to screw up your mute button at least once, Sergio.
Okay, we'll do that. So Marco Rubio, the interesting thing is that his name means in Spanish, literally means frame for Marco. It's a frame. And Rubio is golden. So it's a golden frame that Trump sent to Europe and the whole planet to see America through. It's the
Simulation
golden
wink,
age.
then?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very good. It is a simulation wink because it's so on the nose for the golden age right now that we're living. And Marcela mentioned how the speech was aspirational and not, pointing down at them. Right? He wasn't being talking down to them. It was all about if we rise, you rise. We all rise together. So Marco Rubio ended up being a fantastic representative for America and the new America. The old America, we had all the representatives, but for Tony, remember Tony Blinken? Wasn't he the Secretary of State? Compare Tony Blinken to Marco Rubio. I mean, it's amazing the contrast. So that's what I see with this. Yeah.
And I was going to say something similar just about it being like a positive reframe of Trump's statements about Europe, because I think Trump has taken more of a negative stance in terms of, bashing them about all the things they're doing wrong. And the very first statement that the person interviewing Rubio after the speech said was he thought their reaction was that it was a very reassuring speech, that it was like a reassurance that we're on the same side and we're going to be working together. And I think that's probably a response to Trump sort of, saying you guys are on a bad path, doing bad things, and that we're not following and we're not going to be part of this. And you guys got to do things on your own and defend yourselves and do all these other things. And I think Rubio, I didn't hear him like walk any of that back, but at the same time, he kind of turned it into a positive frame. So it was a very well written speech. And, I think he put a better picture on it, but still didn't pull any punches. Like he talked about how globalism was a huge mistake, that, getting rid of the national view and trying to go to this global rules-based order or whatever it was a huge mistake. And exporting all our manufacturing and our supply chains to our enemies and rivals was a huge mistake. So he hit all those points, but he also just had enough positive in there that said, we need to work together and turn this around, basically. And so it was really a really well-written speech. I liked it a lot.
One quote that he said, I don't know if he said exactly like this, but it was quoted like this, that the old world is gone. He said that the old world is gone. And that I made a little meme of it because that's what I called the speech, the old world is gone. It used to be the old world order is gone.
Right.
Old world order. So it used to be that Bush said the new world order was coming. So now is the old world order gone.
Good. Yeah, I think the moderator even said that, like, you could hear like a sigh of relief in the audience, right? That was pretty interesting.
One
Anyway,
of the things that
we'll post it for you.
One of the things that someone asked, and most people's mind is like, well, what does this change? Because the Europeans may have stood up and clapped, but is anything going to change in Europe? But actually, it's my belief, being that I had lived in Europe for a while, in Germany, and both in Iceland and Germany. I believe that the speech was not meant for the people in the audience, but was meant for the European people that were listening, the people that vote. A lot of conservative movements are fully popping up. Some have indicated in the UK. There's been a revival of these beliefs that it needs to go back. The West is great, and there's no sense of feeling like we need to give up. And the same thing in Germany with the AfD rising. And I believe there was, sorry to forget, but there is a UK member of parliament, or wants to be member of parliament, who's trying to get UK back online with everything. I don't know if Owen remembers.
Something.
Love or something. Somebody in the chat can write it down, because some of them,
I'm not sure what you're referring to. Sorry.
Yeah.
Love.
Rupert Lowe.
Yeah.
No. Rupert Lowe. Yeah.
Rupert Lowe.
Is his motto. Yeah.
Yeah. So restore the UK. So it's kind of like it generates this energy that the European people don't really listen. They're not allowed. Like, we have Fox News, we have certain news coverage, but they don't really have any kind of non-government, non-leftist news sources. So hearing Rubio speak through this leftist news sources allows them to hear these ideas that they're not usually listening to. So it's kind of like South Korea playing democracy stories in North Korea. I don't want to compare the two, but it feels like that. So I think that's what's really going to help, is getting the ball rolling with the European people.
Yeah, it's like Rubio is like a little Starlink dropping down into there and like giving you some information you might not know.
Yes, it's like Starlink in Iran or something like that.
All right, well, you guys make sure you check that out. It was great.
So on this note, we go next to the next story, unless Owen has his stories ready. But the next one I love. It's basically the next few stories are going to be the comparison, the juxtaposition of here's Rubio, here's what he's presenting, and then comes Hillary. She gets roasted in Munich because from the Czech prime minister roasts her because of what she says. He is trying to speak and she interrupts him. They're on a panel. And you must watch the video because I make no justice of it. You have to watch the Hillary video of her getting roasted. But he says to her, first, I think you don't like Trump. So let me speak and let me tell you the issues that I have. And basically what he was outlining is that the reason Trump has had to have a strong border, strong just basically strong at everything, is because the previous administrations have allowed all this to happen. Basically, I'm paraphrasing what he's saying, and he is Peter Machinka, which I probably mispronounce. Every Czech person over there is like, no, Marcela, that's not right. And so sorry for my Czech. By the way, Czech Republic did not allow me into their country. But anyways, long story.
Sorry.
Didn't allow you in?
No, they didn't. But I'll go into that one day. So they were like, maybe now they would. This is absolutely true. Clinton actually agreed that there is issues with immigration and that immigration does need to be reinforced, immigration law, but that it has to be done in a better way, in a more sweet, what was her words? It's gone too compassionate. That's exactly what it was. You know it. And then she said that, yes, there needs to be like a wall, a secure wall, some kind of thing like that to secure the borders. She agreed with him, but basically he called her out on her wokeness and on the fact that the wokeness that pushed this country to this level of chaos, I would say, or destruction, is the reason why Trump has to be a certain way, because he's trying to redo everything and reform everything. So there you are.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the real news is just that I think that is a signal that the Democrats are realizing they can't stick to this immigration open border policy. I think, of course, they're going to say, well, we do it so much better and more compassionately. And in reality, they wouldn't. It would be exactly the same thing if they did do it, because that's what Obama was doing. He deported a lot more people than Trump did. It's just the media doesn't cover it. And so there's no protests. And so there's no conflict, and it doesn't hit the news. Millions of people get deported, and nobody even notices. And that's the difference, is how the media is treating it. And there's no recognition of that. The policies essentially follow our immigration laws when they do enforce them. Obviously, Biden did none of that. But I think if Hillary went back to the older policy, it would be exactly like what Trump's doing. It just wouldn't be as visible, and people wouldn't be aware it was happening. And even if they were, the media would be apologizing for them and saying, oh, everything's fine and it's all compassionate and we're doing everything the right way, and they would be defending it. So I think the media is the big variable there that they're not talking about.
I just want to jump in really quick. So Terry, I see your comment. I do want to say to people, sometimes we're paraphrasing. Okay, don't depend on like every word we're having right. She did say a humane way, not a compassionate way. In my head, I remembered compassionate for some reason, but Hillary Clinton said that we have to have a humane way, and I believe she also said something about like not murdering people and this and that, and she definitely took it too far. So I just want you guys to know, take everything we say with a grain of salt. Okay, we're opinionators. Okay, Sergio, what's your take on this?
Well, I think it was amazing to see Hillary give us so much good material that the Department of State actually made a clip of what Marcela said, and they put it on their own X account and thanking Hillary for her message. And right now, so if everybody can see that there's a shift going on here, right? There's a change of the guard, obviously, and the way they're speaking to her with some lack of respect like that, right? It was so new. It's definitely felt in here too. Like we see all these interviews with Congressman Fetterman, right, saying that that's another story. That's another story. But he was interviewed saying that he cannot call Trump supporters Nazis anymore. He says that he's done with that. He's over with that. And that's one man that I think that he's the most base person in their party that is showing us that we have to like reconcile now. We have to work our way through. And that's what Marco is doing with his speech, right? It's like unite together and we can be invincible. And there's nothing that can stop us. So that's it.
Some people were commenting that this is for the midterms, that it basically Hillary is trying to claw herself back, like she's Gollum or something. She's crawling herself back into a position of that's more moderate, so that people are like, oh yeah, immigration, humane, we must do it, but you still believe in it. So this kind of positioning, how Owen said, into this idea that you can have it. In the same realm, we have, so this is all a juxtaposition. I'm showing you Rubio. I started with Rubio. There's a reason. Then we go to Hillary. Now we go to Newsom. Newsom went in Munich. Mr. Ken, Barbie Ken, he went to Munich and he spilled his ick into Munich. He didn't necessarily call federal agents and ICE Nazis, but basically that's kind of what he said. He didn't use the word Nazi, so everybody don't think he used it, but he told in an interview, he goes, I want to remember, this is his words, I want to remember all those images of masked men, the secret police, something familiar in Germany. Those first images came out of my state, the second largest city of the United States of America. We saw 4,000 National Guard federalized for the first time. We've never seen anything like this. 700 active duty Marines sent not overseas, but to the second largest city in the United States of America, militarizing the streets of my city. He went to that level of using the visual. As Scott would tell us, visuals are so important, as well as fear in persuasion. But the key thing is he tries to skirt the whole idea of calling the federal agents and the National Guard Nazis by calling it out as, oh, this reminds me of Germany and secret police. Again, going into this is the old way of thinking. This is what they always try to do. They have nothing to offer us, so they go in to use visuals, to use fear in order to get support. And it's interesting that we have Rubio going to Munich with a message of hope, with a message of actually doing something and reversing the destruction. And then we have Hillary trying to bring it down, and we have Newsom with actually no ideas to bring to the table. It's not like they have something to say, hey, your policies are this. They don't talk policy, they only talk fear. And that's, to me, that was interesting. And again, going back to the same theme, the reason why Los Angeles needed all these National Guards is because Los Angeles is out of control. It's basically the Democrats caused the situation, and here comes Trump trying to correct it. And the reason why it had to be such a strong showing, like he said, this has never been done before. Well, why? Why has it never been done before? Because it has never declined to this length. I mean, I go to downtown LA, and next time I'm there, I'm going to film it for you guys.
Yeah,
It's
do that.
worse. Yes, I will, because it's worse than El Salvador when I lived in El Salvador in war. That's how bad it is. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I in decay? Like, I actually have gone to third world countries that look better. So
Wow.
Yeah, I remember Joe Rogan mentioning that
terrible.
Skid Row is something like a couple miles long now. Like it's the whole downtown basically.
Yes, the whole downtown is Skid Row
And I
now.
think it used to only be a couple blocks.
Exactly.
And of course, it did happen before in terms of Newsom when she was coming. You remember that? When all of the homeless just mysteriously disappeared?
Oh,
You should. I was there.
Where'd they go? Where'd they go?
I don't know if we ever found out.
It was super clean. It was in the Oscars too. It's not just she. It's also when the Oscars were in near downtown LA. Everything cleared out. I don't know where they put them. I have no idea what happened. It's like they're actors and they're like, okay, go off stage. But
And
it was completely clean.
In the dark of night, like I guess all these buses and vans pulled up and just, I don't know what they did with these people.
Sergio,
and that's really like the secret police, and no one says anything about it, right? Like the media doesn't cover it, they don't make a big deal out of it, and the right-leaning media does, but that doesn't really go anywhere. And it's just kind of amazing how the media portrays things so differently depending on who's doing it.
Yeah, when Marcela said about Newsom bringing up the visuals again of all the ICE agents out there with their mask and everything, right? It looks like they're just going to reuse that same idea, for the next campaign. And it's good because now we are prepared to counter it much better. So it's just so easy, these attacks that they're doing. So I hear Hillary saying this and I hear Newsom saying that, but they just look so weak now, right? They all look so pathetic now. They don't have any power, nothing behind them anymore. And just starting to scare women, and well, not just women, all kinds of people, scare them into action, like what Marcela was saying. And the only way that we're going to stop that is by ridicule them. We had to ridicule them as much as possible, make fun of them, not take them seriously anymore. That's what I'm saying. Like the way that guy talked to Hillary, it just like, I don't even take you seriously anymore. It wasn't like, oh, Hillary's going to kill me. No, nobody's scared of Hillary anymore.
Well,
You see?
and
Oh,
I would point out that, you know, they're dragging out Hillary, right? And they're dragging out Obama. Like, they're bringing out these people that are no longer active in politics. And to me, that's a clear sign that they have no bench. They have no new blood. They have nobody. They, like, you know, yeah, Newsom and Whitmer are supposedly probably trying to run for president, but other than them, and even they are, you know, people who've been around a long time. It's not a new voice. It's not anybody new. And it just seems like they don't have anybody. And especially when they bring people out like Hillary and even Biden, they've dragged them out for a couple of things. Like, it's like they don't have anybody, and they keep trying to bring out these voices that I don't think anyone wants to listen to on either side. I don't think the Democrats want to hear from Hillary. I don't think they want to hear from Kamala. I don't think they want to hear from Biden, but they keep putting them in front of microphones because they don't have anything better.
I feel like we did hear from Kamala there when I got to hear AOC with her word salad.
that's
I was
our
either
next story.
I was going to say, sure, Marcela, just like drive the knife in further. We had to do, you know, Hillary and Newsom. Now let's just top it off with the thing.
Somebody mentioned AOC and
On,
Whitmer were
on the
like,
bench, just on the bench, I want to say that you know, they have no bench, and our bench is like so deep, right? We have so many people. We don't even know what to do with so many people can be
Yeah.
president. You know.
And also, like, everybody calm down. Like, Trump's not running again. Like, this Trump derangement syndrome, like, just stop. He's out of here in a few years. So it's just, it's old news and brutal. Okay, so drive the knife in. Go ahead.
I wanted to first of all say we're not suicidal at all in case Hillary wants to do something to us. Allegedly.
We love
Um,
Hillary.
Allegedly, we love her. We love her. Sure, we love her. So AOC went to Munich, and it didn't go so well. It was word salad central with her. I mean, I personally don't like her politics, obviously, but I felt bad for her, to be honest, because she froze with all these questions. I'm not sure what happened to her. Was she drunk? Was she not well? I don't know, because even with her spiel, she could have just talked. She actually just froze and didn't say much. Whitmer too. She did a little bit better, but basically we have two different sides, one without any kind of solutions and one with solutions. But again, it's always, oh, we need to do the humane thing. I really don't believe in those things. That's the kind of thing AOC would bring up. They asked her about the wealth tax, and she actually did have an answer for that. And she was like, yeah, the wealth tax should come now. I don't have to wait to be president. She didn't say, I think the question was, when you get voted in as president, which knock on wood, it doesn't happen, will you enforce or enact a wealth tax? And this is when she said, uh, the wealth tax can already be done. And then this lady who is possibly, I don't know, crazy, fake news person said, oh, in fact, you can do the wealth tax because even if people do leave your country, the rich leave your country, even if they live in foreign countries, you can still tax them because that's allowed under the US law. You don't actually have to live in America to be taxed unless you, she didn't say this, but I'm just adding this. Unless you give up your rights as an American and become another citizen of another country, the US does have a right to tax you if you're living in another country. So they were like forming this like crazy idea of taxing the rich, and that's all that we have from them. Besides her freezing on questions, one of them was like Taiwan and China. Like, why are you freezing on Taiwan and China? Like, that's an easy question. So I don't know what happened to her.
I think the best she came up with was just, I hope it never comes to it where we have to do that. But it was like, and she was just totally frozen on it. Like, she didn't know what to say.
What do you think happened?
Whitmer did something similar when they asked her about Ukraine, and she's like, "Well, these other people know more about foreign policy than a governor does," and so it's like she was kind of just like giving up, like she didn't even have an answer.
It was totally that I'm in class and the teacher called on me and I have no freaking clue what's going on. And even though I can hear you, I still don't know what's going on because I actually don't know what's going on. That was the vibes I got.
They definitely didn't read the book before class.
Yeah, they did not
Mhm.
do their homework.
Again,
Sergio,
it was like a more opportunities, more moments, right, to capture for the campaign. This is amazing. It's just the stage was set perfectly to capture all
I
these.
just
You know,
find it hard to
AOC.
believe,
Huh?
these are issues that have been in the news, like, all the time for years,
Mhm.
and, like, anybody that's in politics, you would think would be very well aware of the whole situation in Taiwan and have come up with some kind of position on it, and the same thing with Ukraine. It's like, how can you not
You know
have a
what?
position on Ukraine?
This is a very good example, right? That when you know what you want and you have a clear stated position, it's very easy to articulate it, even if you are not a master speaker. But if you don't know is in the audience, because these people normally speak to audiences, right? So they want to see who to talk to, who they have to agree with. And so free Palestine and maybe not. And they're always like doing that, right? So they always have to be so careful and they just lose it when they get overwhelmed with their lies. There's so many lies that they have to like keep together because there's no, when you have common sense, it's so easy to explain anything
Mhm.
to anybody, right? It's just clear when
Yeah,
it's
it
just
just kind
not.
of blew me away in this case because, like Palestine or Gaza, that is a controversial issue. I understand, especially in the Democratic Party, that would be a hard question because they have a big split within their party, and they got to be sensitive to how they answer that question because they don't want to come across as anti-Semitic, but they don't want to come across as favoring the Jews over the Palestinians or all that. But for Ukraine, I mean, I thought the Democratic position has been clear forever. And the same with Taiwan, really. I mean, Taiwan, maybe if you want to be friendly to the CCP somehow, you have to be sensitive to that. But still, it's like we obviously don't want to let Taiwan go anytime soon to China. And so, you might want to phrase it carefully, like not maybe call Taiwan an independent country. They have that weird thing where they try to say it's, sort of a territory of China, but sort of not. But still, you would. It's kind of an obvious position that the United States has had for decades that we're going to defend Taiwan and we're not going to let it, become part of China. We're not going to let China invade or take over. And I don't remember anybody on the Democratic Party ever saying anything different. So it's like, unless you're just completely ignorant of what's going on, I just don't get how they missed it.
I would like to jump into because this is something I'm very passionate about. Was I was invited to a private screening of a documentary a few years ago. Some of you know, and you guys, we'll drop everything unless somebody can while we're on in the links on the platforms. But it's a documentary. You can watch it for free on YouTube. It's called either The Hong Kongers or Hong Kongers, okay? And it's a story about Jimmy Lai, Lai. And if you're kind of like, I don't really know the history about it, like I don't know what the hubbub's about, it's such a well done documentary. And it was current, like it was like when we were locked down during the pandemic, this stuff was going on in Hong Kong and they were rising up and we were distracted. I remember watching it and I remember thinking, oh my God, what's happening over here? Please, I know Jimmy Lai is probably one of the most honorable, amazing human beings. And I'm not going to tell you the story. I really want you to go watch it. Again, it's called The Hong Kongers, and you can find it on YouTube. And I highly recommend just watch it. Like you could watch it, with your family, and maybe report back and like tell us what you think about the situation in Hong Kong after you watch it. It's and then do a little update on what's going on with Jimmy Lai. It's something I've actually, what I think I might do, you guys? It's so important. Maybe I'll just do it on locals. Is have some of the people that were that wrote the movie, that were in the movie, that I'm friends with. Maybe we'll do a spaces on locals about it, because it just never got enough attention. And I know I love giving homework assignments. Sorry. And Rubio really was trying to help with this. I don't want to talk too much about it now. We'll talk about it later, but please watch it. Okay, sorry, back to the news. Now back to the news.
All right.
Well, I don't know what happens to them in regards to not knowing any of this. All of us know all of this. Like, we should be in Congress then. We should be senators. I mean, like, the fact that they weren't ready for it, or even with a politician answer of like non anything. Even Kamala comes up with word salads. So that it's just MS Now, which is now what MS Now is now, used to be the previous MSNBC, and they wrote a story about Rubio and AOC. In their mind, they made AOC look good, but it's actually like the opposite. So it's beautiful to have these visuals, to have Rubio stand there, standing ovation by Europe, a man that is American but also Cuban descent, being for strong borders and being for Trump. At the same time, you have that visual, you have Hillary being dragged out to speak on behalf of the Democratic Party, and then AOC being speechless and frozen, and Newsom only having fear. So those visuals, I mean, it makes for the midterms. It makes for, I mean, it. I don't know how lucky Trump is in having all of that happen. I don't think it was planned, but it's beautiful. And the next story, I don't know if Owen has his stories. I will go with
I do.
Owen. Okay.
Well, I
Go
mean,
with yours.
I did think a fun story was the Obama alien story, that he was on a podcast, and I think it was a speed round where they just asked him, "Are aliens real?" And his answer was, "Yes, they're real." But then he
He's
also went
married
on
to
to
one.
say, yeah, he went on
Sorry.
to say that they're not in Area 51 unless they're hiding him from the president. So it was kind of this back and forth answer on it. But I will invoke the 48-hour rule, because he then came out a little later to clarify, because this was like this speed round question. So they didn't ask any follow-up questions. They just went on to the next question. So it just kind of left everybody thinking, what did he just say? And so then he clarified something like he didn't really mean that he had any evidence of it. And he just thought, number one, it was a speed round. So he just thought he had to give an answer really quickly. And then what he meant by that apparently was just, it's a big universe. There's all these planets, there's all these galaxies, and, so there's probably something out there. And so I think he essentially walked the whole thing back. But it is funny that, this former president that in theory would have had direct access to all this information, and he was there for 8 years, so had plenty of time to look into it, that he, starts off by saying, yep, aliens are real, and just leaves it at that. And then, later he comes back and kind of walks it back. But I don't know. It'll be interesting, because I think there is all this talk about UFOs and aliens that keeps coming up, and we have this Ages Disclosure documentary that's out now, and a lot of people are expecting this to continue, that we're going to get some kind of gradual disclosure that aliens are real and they're here, and we're not alone and all that. And that would potentially just change reality pretty drastically if it happens, and I'm kind of just wondering where that's going to go over the next few years.
That's the next thing, right? That aliens are here or something to distract us from politics.
Mm-hmm.
If they can unite us, like Reagan said, right? If there's an attack, an alien attack, and it unites us all, right? I mean, it would be great for that purpose.
I don't know if it'd be great. I mean, if they have this technology that we can't do anything about.
Oh, we'd have like Democrat aliens and Republic aliens and MAGA aliens. Oh, please, we'd find a way to mess that up too. Good Lord. Owen, I have a special request. This is kind of on the fly. While we're talking about the news stories, could you just quick pull up Trump's truth post about Bill Maher and do an interpretive reading for us when you find it?
I'll see if I can find it. Sure.
Okay.
I think I posted that today.
Yeah, I think we need to hear it. You know, we like when you do Trump a reading by Trump.
Well, I still don't have a good Trump voice, but I can at least read it.
Yeah, that's okay. Your voice we'll imagine that it's Trump, and I'll even imagine Scott's reading it because I can just see the tears, the laughter, the tissue, the everything. So good. You guys, if you did not see this, so you remember that Bill Maher went to the White House and met Trump, and everything was honky dory peachy keen. And I guess Bill Maher gets, he's like right in the middle, which I can't fault him for. I'm like an in the middle person too. Like I like this, I don't like that, blah blah blah. But Trumpy Bear, he gets upset and he feels like there should be some loyalty, and he
All
had to
right.
make a
Well,
post.
I've got
Here,
it
There
up
we
if
go.
you want.
I'll
I've got it up
Yay.
if you want me to read it.
Let's
All right.
This is
go.
Sometimes in life you waste time. TV host Bill Maher asked to have dinner with me through one of his friends, also a friend of mine, and I agreed. He came into the famed Oval Office much different than I thought he would be. He was extremely nervous, had zero confidence in himself, and to soothe his nerves immediately, within seconds, asked for a vodka tonic. He said to me, "I've never felt like this before. I'm actually scared." In one respect, it was somewhat endearing. Anyway, we had a great dinner. It was quick, easy, and he seemed to be a nice guy. And for the first show after our dinner, he was very respectful about our meeting. But with everything I have done in bringing our country back from oblivion, why wouldn't he be? But then I noticed his show started to devolve into the same old story. Very boring, anti Trump, no mention of the perfect border, lowest crime in 125 years, the mass removal of stone cold criminals, the 50,000 Dow, the 7,000 S&P, both highest ever, least number of murders since 1900, Venezuela, Midnight Hammer, Soleimani dead, al-Baghdadi dead, lowest inflation in years, 1.2% for the last 3 months, and rebuilding of our military, 8 war stoppages, and on and on and on. In any event, it was a total waste of time for me to have this jerk at the White House. And last night, after explaining what a disaster Canadian leaders are to deal with, how Canada has ripped off the United States for years on trade, but not anymore, I jokingly stated in a truth that the first thing China will do is terminate all ice hockey being played in Canada and permanently eliminate the Stanley Cup. Well, he went on and on about the hockey statement, like, what kind of person would say such a foolish thing as this, as though I were being serious when I said it. Fortunately, his television ratings are so low that nobody will learn about his various fake news statements about me. He is no different than Kimmel, Fallon, or Colbert, but I must admit, slightly more talented. Anyway, Bill Maher is a highly overrated lightweight, and Republicans should stop using him to show how the left is coming over our way. Our base, the greatest of all time, laughs at your weakness when you do it. Maher asked me if he could come back to the White House again, and with his friend also asked to come to the wonderful White House Christmas party, but he didn't. Regardless, I'd much rather spend my time making America great again than wasting it on him. Bill continues to suffer from a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome, TDS, and there is nothing that will ever be done to cure him of this very serious disease. Thank you for your attention to this minor matter, President DJT.
Amazing.
Oh my God.
Savage.
So
Savage.
good. Oh, so wait, that came
Perfect.
out Saturday, so we don't have Bill's response yet. Oh, and I think he's on hiatus, no? Bill?
Yeah, that was Valentine's Day.
Oh my
Oh, what a
Trump's
lover.
Valentine to Bill Maher.
Will Bill
Uplifting.
ever get a chance to have Trump sign that for him? I don't know.
Slightly talented. Slightly talented.
Slightly more talented.
Slightly more talented.
Is he? So he's responding to. Is Trump responding to Bill Maher speaking trash of Trump on an interview? Catch me up because.
Yeah.
So
Well, I
Trump
think
is not responding to Bill Maher,
Trump made
right?
a joke about hockey and the tariffs in Canada.
Oh yeah.
And Bill was like, who would say that? He was
Okay.
kidding, saying, like, we're going to take away the Stanley Cup. And, like, it's obviously just a joke. But Bill,
It's amazing how every response that Trump takes the opportunity to brag about America. I love that. It becomes a State of the Union every tweet. It's beautiful.
You have to read it.
to
You
hear
have
that.
to read the good things to get to the insults. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
That was beautiful. Thank you.
We can turn our attention to Ukraine for a moment. looks like it is still the drone war that Scott was predicting. There's a story about Eric Schmidt going from "Don't be evil" at Google to basically the drone king is the way they describe him, and he's just saying, future wars are going to be defined by unmanned weapons. They expand the no man's land. AI is going to be automating targeting. There's going to be drone versus drone combat with air-to-air missiles, and he predicts that there would be like a drone wall border, like an intelligent fence. So looks like Eric Schmidt, who is in a position to do this because I think he's, selling a lot of these things or helping build a lot of these things or funding a lot of these drone companies, seems to be all over making this brave new war with drones. Speaking of which, there was another attack on Moscow from Ukrainian drones. I don't think anyone got killed. I think they shot them all down, but there were 13 drones over Moscow. So I think there was 120 in Bryansk and 182 total across all the regions. So a bunch of drones being lobbed at Moscow and other places. But it looks like it didn't really do much. And then I think there was a similar attack on Ukraine. And in the meantime, Russia has apparently seized a dozen Ukrainian villages in February, so they're expanding what they call their security zone. So the war is still underway and looks like it's at the moment moving in Russia's favor, but slowly. And at the same time, there's a video of a Russian commander stripping cowards and tying them to trees in the snow, where he's saying they're idiots, alcoholics, and cowards. And there's a couple of videos I posted about it where you see these people that have very little clothing on and they're tied to a tree, kind of begging to be let go. So have fun if you're in the Russian military. And then on the Ukrainian side, one of his allies was arrested while trying to flee the country from this massive corruption probe that's going on. So Herman Halushenko was detained at the border trying to leave by train. And I think he's tied up in this thing. He resigned in November and is under a lot of heat for this corruption. So looks like the corruption scandal is continuing to escalate in Ukraine. So I think those are the latest developments I see in Ukraine. What do you guys think is going to happen?
Oh, hang on. I was on the wrong platform and muted.
Mm-hmm.
Know what's going to happen, but I think see, I'm afraid to say anything because I'm very opinionated about this. I don't know. I don't
Well,
want to say anything yet.
I would say I don't expect an agreement anytime soon, like not within the next few weeks or months. I think it's going to keep going because I still think that right now, as things stand currently, Russia has all the advantages to just keep it going. And so they don't need to compromise on anything. And right now, Zelensky is not willing to compromise on all the land that would essentially have to be given up to bring this to an end. And so I think they're at an impasse, and they are having more talks in Geneva coming up. So they are trying to come to an agreement, but I don't know if it's possible with Zelensky. I think it might require some kind of election and a new leader to say, we're going to put an end to this.
That's
And
what
I
I'm
don't
saying.
see that happening soon either.
I want to know what the Ukrainian people think about this and not the guy that has installed himself and won't leave there. Like I don't look at him as their president because he's full of shit. So I'd rather know how the Ukrainian people feel and what they want since all of their sons and husbands are dead. I don't care about Zelensky. I think he needs to be removed. Okay, so this is my opinion. This is why, like, I feel weird about saying that, but I don't know. I just feel like it's all fake and he's a puppet and he's being controlled by bigger money and nefarious powers, and a lot of the other world leaders know this and that they're all in on it. And I think there's bio labs there and they're getting money and they're laundering money. And for some reason, we're paying for their, people that can't work. And like, so we're paying their welfare right now. So I'm just like, it's a big, for me, money laundering scheme that I'm having a hard time having a fair opinion about it or being balanced. I see a lot of you in the chat agree with me. So I say, remove him, Let the people of Ukraine decide what they want to do, and then I can have a real opinion about it, because right now it's just a power war and it's sick, and I want it to end however it has to end.
Hmm.
On is it true that there is like 7 to 8,000 casualties every week? Because Marco Rubio said that he said there's no casualties, it's dead people every week. 7 to 8,000 people.
Yeah, I mean, it
I
might
don't
be. I
understand.
don't know.
How, yeah, so
It's hard to know. I mean, again, it's always fog of war when you're getting war casualties. I don't know if anyone's ever honest about that in any
well,
war.
it is the
So
it is the Secretary of State saying it in on a speech,
yeah.
in front of everybody. So he's saying like 7 to 8,000. So I don't know if it's true or not.
Mhm.
But the point is, I'm saying, if it's true, if there's not lying, if Trump is not lying, if Marco is not lying, and there is a 1,000 people dying every day, so there's 1,000 parents out there getting notices that their kids are dying every day. Uh, if somehow we were able to visualize that and show it to the whole planet, 7,000 deaths every day, I'm pretty sure that there will be enough pressure on anybody in power to stop it. And that's what is needed. Like what Erika is saying, yeah, let's take out Zelensky, but we need to give motivation to the people to want to get rid of him. And I don't think there's anything more powerful than stopping, 1,000 dead every day. So if it's true, who knows, right?
Well, they're taking
Mhm.
even older people now, like people in their 40s and 50s, to go fight because they've exhausted all of the military aged men there. So what it's like, it's to me like Ukraine's genociding their own country, because where are all the men going? These are men that have families or would have families or would be creating their own lives. Like, so there's going to be, and I'm not even to make a joke of this, because you could be like, oh, more Ukrainian women for everyone else. Like, it's it's bad. Like, it's gonna really whittle down their people. So a lot of, yeah, husbands and sons and fathers and brothers are dead, and they have a fake president, and they are laundering money. Did they ever say they're going to pay us back? No. So, yeah, I'm over it. Like, get this guy out of there. Give
No.
Ukraine
Um,
sovereignty, give them some kind of, democracy. If you ask them, they probably want the same thing to happen to Zelensky. He's
you know,
fake.
nobody can define what Ukraine winning means. If somebody says like, "What does it mean for Ukraine to win?" They don't cannot define that, right? There's no because you cannot. That means you know it's impossible to define that. So that's
At this
why
point, I would define it as just having the war stop, and
Yeah.
giving up all the territory you need to make it happen, because I think it's just going to get worse. I think, people in the past have said, "Oh, in the winter everything's just going to stop," but it's not stopping. And I think Russia has all the advantages right now, and I think it would be in Ukraine's best interest to make a deal and to say, let's freeze at least the losses that we've had and not have more. And I get that they might be able to hold on with all these drones, but they're still going to have people dying, and they're still going to be losing territory, and it doesn't seem to be working in their favor at all. And every month that goes by, it gets worse for Ukraine. So I personally think it's better to just make a deal, understand that you just have to give up some of that territory, and you might be able to work on getting it back later, but in the meantime, I don't think it's going to benefit them to try and keep fighting, because they're just going to
Stop
keep
with
losing.
that.
And at some
Stop.
point, they're going to run out of people, and then it's all going to collapse. And it might be that Ukraine will become a Russian territory. I mean, that's a possibility at this point.
That's right. So, you guys, we're at the top of the hour. I know it feels abrupt when I stop us, but we do have a stop time, so you guys know what your day looks like. But yeah, stop the death, and remember, maps change, borders change. Like, look at maps from a long time ago; they don't stay the same, and that's what's probably going to happen here. But can we just stop the dying? That would be amazing. You guys, I hope you enjoyed the show today. Tomorrow. You like the timekeeping? Good. Okay, so tomorrow we have a very special guest coming on. His name is Stefan Molyneux. You guys, my X account was hacked. Okay, so I did not block you or unfollow you. It's been a freaking nightmare. It's been going on for more than 2 days now. So if you get a DM from me with a link, do not click on it. Do not open it. I don't invest in crypto. I did not win a car. I am not a finalist to be a co-host in an entertainment show, and I don't need your vote. Okay. And I know a lot of you would vote for me if that was true, but please, I didn't send that to you. Okay. And it's happening to a lot of other accounts. It happened to Greg Gutfeld and countless people. Please ignore those DMs. I am so sorry. I am trying to fix it. It's going to have to come from X. It's a big problem that they're having. So even if it's not for me, you see any suspicious links, don't click on them. Okay. If you got a message that I blocked you and you're a nice, kind person and I had no reason to block you, just let me know because it wasn't me. It's also occasionally posting on my behalf. And also, when I post a message saying what happened to my account, they're going in and taking that one message out. Also, when I was posting last night from my phone, as I'm typing, it's backspacing my cursor, so it doesn't want me to finish my message. Okay. It's pretty crafty. So it's frustrating, but we will persevere. Okay. So that being said, Stefan Molyneux will be on tomorrow. On my Twitter account is a video that I posted. You will see it showing Tuesday's guest. He made an amazing message to Scott. And I would really, really love you guys to all watch it. It's a half an hour. And if you're pressed for time, just watch it at like 1.5 playback speed. But it's beautiful. He's a philosopher. He's had over 1 million downloads on his channels. He was one of the OGs who got canceled. We'll talk about it more, but he's a free thinker, and I think you're going to really love him. Okay. So that being said, I'm over time. We will be back tomorrow. I think it's going to be the three of us and Stefan to keep the format of 4, and then Sergio's back on Wednesday. So you guys, please be right here, and we will see you tomorrow. Let's have a final sip to Scott, and please be useful and be kind, and we will be here in the morning. Okay, love you guys. To Scott.
To Scott.
Shelly.